With the highly anticipated RX 9070 XT releasing soon, let's find out what we already know about it and what's to come. I'm really excited for this card because I'm also looking for an upgrade. Let's find out. So our first piece of confirmed news is that the RX 9000 series will be announced on February 28th at 8 AM EST. Now this was a post by David McAfee from AMD on Twitter or x.com. So it's an official post, so at least we can take it as a real thing happening here. So it'll be a good day. We can get the MSRP, we'll get the non-XT pricing as well, we'll get the actual specs. Well, a bit of the specs seems to have already leaked, but we'll see if they're actually real when this announcement comes out. So it's not too long from now, but it's going to be a pretty good day. Speaking of MSRP and pricing, I know that people are hoping that the card comes out around about $499 US to around about $650 US. Now we do have some actual pricing that was leaked by Canada Computers, so a couple of listings here, and on VideoCardz.com we've got a couple of listings that they managed to take some screenshots of. So from the PowerColor list, we have the 9070 XT Red Devil at 1,239 Canadian or $865 US. Now the cheapest one they have here is the PowerColor Reaper, which is $999 Canadian or $697 US. So pretty good pricing we have here, but it's not towards that cheaper mark of $499 US as it seems. And we also have some more stuff to back that up, which is the XFX line. So the most expensive one here is the XFX Mercury, which is $856 US, which is the white one. And then the cheapest one here is the Quicksilver, which is $748 US. So I don't know. Will people think this is price competitive? I'm not really sure. So it is a little bit disappointing that it's $650 US plus for the XT model, and this does seem to be backed up by some claims by a guy called Momo on Twitter. He's known for some data mining as well as early leaks and information. He's usually pretty accurate. He's got a screenshot here from an Amazon listing. It's the RX 9070 XT at $849.99, the Mercury one. So the pricing does seem kind of accurate. And from the VideoCardz article, it does say here that a couple of these pricings are, well, above $650 US. So the Swift one is $749, the Quicksilver is $769, and the Mercury again $849. So a little bit hopeful that it will be cheap, but one can hope, right? But at this point, I don't think so. We probably will see a more expensive price point for the 9070 XT, but hopefully it's backed up with some pretty good performance. At the bottom of this article as well, it also mentions performance. So the XT variant should have a 2970 MHz boost clock, and the overclocked ones may go up to 3100 MHz. I'm directly quoting off here. So in terms of performance as well and price point, the RTX 5070 Ti will also be competing at this price point. And I just wanted to bring it up because similar price point. Hopefully the raster performance on the 9070 XT is a lot better than the 5070 Ti. Let me know in the comments which card you're actually wanting to buy, the RTX 5070 Ti or the RX 9070 XT. So this post is on Twitter and Reddit, and supposedly it's a real photo of a RX 9070 XT with some of its specs on it, but not too much, just a couple of things. The first one is the compute units is 64 on the 9070 XT, and the 7900 XTX is 96. Now you can see that is a bit of a difference there, so it's interesting how they've gone from 64 to 96, but at the same time this guy also mentions, it's on the box here, it says minimum 900 or greater power supply. So wow, that is a little bit of an increase. He says also 100 watts over the 7900 XTX question mark, and we can confirm that on AMD's own website, it does say 800 watts for the 7900 XTX. So we go back to that Twitter post, we scroll down a little bit, and we have a actual reply from Frank Azor here. So he says, there will be 9070 XT cards available at launch that will require a lower minimum power supply. So there will be plenty of 8-pin power connectors for worry-free upgrading. I'm quoting him here, so you can see it on the screen as well. So it does seem that this card will be a little bit power hungry, but hopefully that means decent performance, but I'm not too sure. So this is also mentioned on VideoCardz.com, and they have the 3 models here: the non-XT variant, which is 650 watt, just the 2 8-pins, the standard RX 9070 XT, which is 750 watt, so 2 8-pins, just standard as well, and then something like the overclocked version, the Red Devil one, which will be the higher end one, which probably needs a 900 watt power supply. So that's 3 8-pins. So quite a bit of power consumption going on there, but it looks to me that you will have a choice just in case you don't want to go for the higher end card. At least there's an option for the lower end power requirement RX 9070 XT. So I mean, that kind of worried me a little bit. I don't exactly want to upgrade my power supply just in case I want to buy this card. I'm on a 750 watt power supply as well, so pretty good that we can buy the lower models. So this one's been circulating on Reddit and Twitter quite a bit. So it's a Gigabyte RX 9070 XT unboxing. That seems a little bit crazy, but it does seem to be correlating a little bit with the information we were given, but obviously we can't confirm that whatsoever. So as we can see here, the card does have the 3 8-pins. He does have the serial at the back as well, and if you pull up the photos on Reddit, it does seem kind of real. So apparently he wants to benchmark the card somehow. So this is him on Reddit. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to do that on unofficial drivers, because I don't think it should be working yet. It hasn't released. So we'll see what happens with this one, but interesting speculation. The card is pretty hefty, pretty big there. So yeah, I'll be happy to see when the benchmarks actually come out for this one to see if this is real. But if it is, I don't know how he got it. He must be working for some sort of retailer or even like Gigabyte itself to have gotten this card. It's pretty hard. So going on from that crazy unboxing, this is an article from VideoCardz.com with a person who is already able to purchase the RX 9070 XT off Amazon. So he's posted this on Reddit to say that he was able to purchase the card already, and this was 2 days ago. So a little bit interesting, but he says here that it was $1,365.47 Canadian. So I'll put the conversion rate on screen. Interesting that he was able to do that. It was probably by accident, the listing, but the pricing does seem to be a bit accurate from what we saw before. And as well, going on from that, the actual release date, another article from VideoCardz.com, they're quoting here Bench Life that says the card should go on sale on March 6th, so the day after the RTX 5070 actually releases. So bit interesting how AMD is pulling this one off. So there was also a rumor that the RX 9070 XT might come in a 32GB version. Now, unfortunately, Frank Azor here has kind of burst our bubble, and he said the card is not coming in a 32GB capacity. So not for this card in particular, but it doesn't mean they aren't working on one. So it could be something for an AI workload, or even if you're video editing, something along the lines of that, some sort of professional card, or it could even be an XTX version. Who knows? But we'll see in the future. It is being developed, it's just not for this particular card. I just wanted to touch on this as well. WCCF Tech got some good information on the Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark for the RX 9070 XT, and it does seem that someone has it in GPU-Z with probably unofficial drivers, and it's got 16GB of GDDR6, and it is PCIe 5.0. So that's all correct as we know so far, and it does line up for the other information we've seen. So if I scroll down here, the screenshot does seem to be in Chinese, but from what I've seen online, it does seem that frame generation is actually enabled, and they achieved 211.17 FPS with an enabled and a score of 36,102. The benchmark was done at 1080p with a Core Ultra 9285K for the CPU, and probably on unofficial drivers. So interesting result we got here. I'd love to see the actual proper raster performance of this card without FSR or upscaling or frame gen. So interesting times we're actually in. I don't know if ray tracing was on as it says here. It's hard to tell, especially if you put it on Ultra. I believe ray tracing is on by default. So I'm not sure what the result actually means here, but it's just an interesting note. So that about sums it up for the RX 9070 XT news. Hopefully I'll keep you guys updated on any further news in the future. This is the first time I'm recording a video like this, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what I can do better in the comments, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.